finally today, the reviews for the new MacBooks Air with the M4 chip are out. But I'm gonna skip that because it's the same MacBook, just better chip. I'm going to instead end today with a quick review of the Mac Studio because apparently the gains in performance there are notable. Quoting Tom's Hardware, the Mac Studio is a fascinating product. For less than the cost of just a Xeon or Threadripper workstation processor, you can get a fully functioning macOS machine with some serious horsepower under the hood. The M3 Ultra dominated most of our CPU tests, except for the single-thread Geekbench test that favored the M4 Max, and the Blender CPU test, which favored the Xeon and Threadripper with their huge advantages in core counts. The M3 Studio blew through our Handbrake transcode test in record time, aced our file transfer test, and held its own on the Blender CPU benchmark tests against the Intel and AMD competition. However, when we switched to the GPU in the Blender test, the Mac Studio blew the doors off the competition, with the M4 Max trailing not too far behind. The new Mac Studio achieves these feats silently, as even under full load, I could only hear the dual internal fans if my ear was up against the exhaust vent. But for all its pluses, the Mac Studio still has some downsides. There's no way to upgrade your memory or SSD after purchase, so you'll need to forecast what your needs will be a few years down the road regarding hardware resources. Also, memory and SSD upgrade prices are far pricier than what you find on the PC side. But if you're firmly in the Apple camp or even a PC stalwart that doesn't mind expanding his or her horizons to the macOS realm, the Mac Studio remains a compelling choice in a compact package, end quote. And quoting The Verge's, whose review unit was a spec'd out $8,000 beast, quote, like its predecessors, the 2025 Mac Studio delivers breakneck performance while running shockingly quiet, as my former colleague Monica Chin wrote 2 years ago. That remains just as true today as it was then. In a few days of testing, this thing has laughed at my Lightroom edits, made quick work of Adobe AI's noise reduction and other effects, and I've never so much as heard any fan noise. The M3 Ultra chip is overkill for many. If you need this level of power, you already know exactly how you'll get the most from it. It's for visual effects artists and animators. It's for professionals doing ambitious audio and video production work. Are you regularly crunching big medical data sets? Maybe you can use all those cores and memory to their fullest potential. And AI development continues to flourish. The kitted out configurations with 256 gigabytes or 512 gigabytes of memory could prove appealing to anyone interested in running sophisticated LLM models locally on their machine. I've only had our Mac Studio review unit for a few days, so for now I'm providing the usual benchmarks and setting it up for some of these LLM test cases to gauge what it's capable of. In the weeks ahead, I'll also be looking to friends and experts in other fields that can fully appreciate the Studio's capabilities to see what they think of its performance. If you've got ideas or tests you'd like to see us run, though, feel free to share them in the comments, end quote.